Guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an article titled How to Translate the Honeymoon Phase into Lifelong Passion. And guys, this article is written by a woman, and she's making the case through this article that if you do all these different things that she talks about, then you can make your marriage be like what you see in the movies, the real fantasy type of movies, where there's a whole lifelong passion. It doesn't just last in the beginning, forever. From the moment you guys put the ring on your fingers and walk down the aisle to the moment you drop dead when you're in your 80s or 90s, okay? Lifelong passion. Now, I hope you guys can pick up some of the sarcasm in my voice, because obviously for those of you guys that are married right now or were married at some point in your life, you know darn well that's a bunch of nonsense, and it's not going to happen that way, okay? You've been there, you've done that, you know it's not going to happen. However, I will say this, and I'm going to be fair here to the girl that's writing this article. She makes some very good points and things that you can do to make the situation better. I think there's no chance in hell you're going to have lifelong passion like what is described here and what, obviously people have in the honeymoon phase in the beginning. But these are things that definitely can help out. So I'm going to give her credit there. And also the fact that, the website that this comes from, they tend to write a lot of articles that definitely are in favor of guys, to stand up for guys, okay? So that's good. It's a start. We got a long way to go here, but it's a start. But like I said, guys, those of you who've been through it, you know darn well it's just not going to work. The honeymoon phase, at least with marriage, usually lasts a year or two, give or take, and then you get kids in there and all sorts of stuff. But generally, it doesn't work regardless of all these things that she mentions. And let me tell you why. Because you could both go in really having a good thing going. But over time, you got to understand, guys, people generally don't change. Who they are doesn't change. However, throughout life and life experiences, both parties, all people actually, what's important to them as they get older can change. Their values can change. What they want to get out of life can change. Their political views can change. You get the point here. Lots and lots of things about what they want and their views and their values and all that can change. So you can get two people to get together in the beginning, and they may actually work. They may have a good thing going, because it does happen, guys. I tell you not to get married in today's world because of a lot of things, especially with how the deck is stacked against guys in the family courts and all that, and other things. But there are certain exceptions, and I'll be honest here and I'll be fair here and mention that. But you can get two people that they click very well in the beginning, but then over time, they're different in the sense that, like I mentioned, what's important to them, their values, what they want out of life, their goals. And so you could do all the things mentioned in this particular article, and it doesn't matter. It's not going to change that, and it's not going to make the passion she talks about or have people stay together. It just doesn't work. And this is one of the reasons why, back in the old days, people didn't live to be very long, okay? So they could get married in their very late teens, early 20s, and a few decades later, they're pretty much old, and that's that, right? I mean, not in the not too distant past. Nowadays, you got people that's very common to live in your 80s, 90s, sometimes be 100 years old. So if you get married in your 20s, and you're going to be married to your 80s, 90s, 100, 60, 70, 80 years, what the hell are you going to talk about? It's just, and people stay together, and I respect some people that they try to stay together for the other person, or they do it for the kids, and I get they mean well, but secretly they're unhappy. And life is too short, in my opinion, to be unhappy. So you could have a relationship that may work well for about 10 to 15 years, but then you change, she changes, and it's time to move on. It's just how it is. And a lot of people just don't want to come to terms with that or admit that. But anyhow, guys, I've gone on long enough here, but I had to mention that. So I'm going to go through her article, guys. I'm going to read through what she says. Again, she has very good points about if you want to make things better. Don't get me wrong, but to have the honeymoon passion through the whole marriage, no. So it starts off, staying loved up after the honeymoon phase is easier than you think. It just requires a bit of effort. A bit. When you get married, life couldn't be better. You feel happy, beautiful, and on top of the world. You have that bridal glow. It's a wonderful time and everything is perfect. Obviously, she hasn't been married. The honeymoon phase usually lasts for about 2 years, and then the relationship tends to settle down. You still feel happy, but real life starts to kick in. If you don't already have children, you start thinking about family planning and what your future will look like together. You still want to hold onto the romantic parts no matter what comes, so what can you do to make the honeymoon phase last forever? Well, here we go. Number one, the key is to keep things fresh. The honeymoon phase is exciting and full of passion because everything is brand new. I agree with that. Just like when you start dating somebody you really like and have a good time with. It's all brand new, so that's a lot of fun. And I agree, it's definitely fun. So long as there's very minimal drama and there's a lot of good hooking up going on. You're discovering new things about each other. You're experiencing new things together, and you're growing in intimacy. When a couple experiences a decline in their marriage quality, it's usually because they become habituated and complacent. This has an apathy component, so you're likely to take one another and your relationship for granted. And that happens. The secret to creating lifelong passion, like it was during the honeymoon phase, is to keep your marriage fresh and exciting. You want to stay curious about life and continue putting effort into the relationship. Well, I couldn't agree with more about all that stuff, but at the end of the day, pretty quickly, you're going to learn pretty much everything there is to know about the other person. Okay, it's very rare they surprise you after 10 years, right? And you know what they're like, what their routine is like, what they're into. There's nothing new in the bedroom, okay? And you've done a lot of these things, but she's trying to make it out to be you can have the same passion as early on. No, it's not going to work. She says, here are top 7 ways to do that. Number 1, date night. According to a study conducted by the University of Virginia, couples who dedicate a night each week to each other were 3.6 times likely to feel very happy with their marriage, compared to those who spent less quality time with their spouses. Well, definitely if you have kids, you're not getting out much, especially if you have little kids. So if you can have that one night out that the two of you go out and you can have fun and hang out, that definitely will help the situation. Wholeheartedly agree there. Date night strengthens relationships in many ways, including improving communication, intimacy, commitment. Planning to do new things together keeps the relationship fresh and alive. So get out of the house, make a reservation, and enjoy some one-on-one time together. Couldn't agree more. You should definitely do that, whether you're married or not. Okay, if for those of you who do relationships. But ain't going to have the same passion as before. Number 2, learn his love language. Obviously, she's writing this to a female audience, but I'm pointing this out to a mainly male audience. I don't want to say the idiocy of this mindset, but definitely a little unrealistic, a little delusional. The five languages of love by Gary Chapman is all about how we like to receive love, which is important to keep the romance alive. Does your husband feel more loved by words of affirmation, or does he prefer physical touch? I would say physical touch. What about quality time, receiving gifts, or acts of service? When you're an effective communicator of love, it can greatly strengthen and enrich your marriage. You can take the quiz to find out blah, blah, blah what your love languages are. That's important to find out what makes the other person tick, what they respond to. I'm cool with that. Number 3, book a vacation. Vacation is not only important for your general well-being, but they can also spark fun and romance back into your relationship. They're a great way to catch up on much-needed quality time. If budget permits, visit a romantic destination such as Venice, Santorini, or Bali. Or how about a cute staycation at an Airbnb? Discover a new town you never visited and take in some time for the local scenery. You got to get away. Again, whether you are just your relationship guy and you're doing a regular relationship with a girlfriend, or you're married, you got to get the hell out. A lot of people don't go anywhere. Okay, and you can see how people get bored. So I agree with that. It's not going to bring the honeymoon passion back, but it is important. Number 4, learn something new together. According to science, the key to staying young is to keep your mind sharp by being curious about the world around you. The desire to learn new things and having a sense of wonder and excitement can make you feel youthful. I agree with that. I'm always trying to learn new things. I'm always trying to do new things. I'm always trying to better myself in many ways, self-improvement, as I always preach to you guys. And I preach to you guys to do this for many, many reasons. But one, definitely, it makes you feel young. I'm always looking for something new to do, something new to explore, something new to learn, and it makes you feel young. I couldn't agree more there. This feeling is similar to the honeymoon phase when everything was still brand new, and you were curious about each other and the world around you. Why not embrace this outlook by setting yourself up a challenge to learn one new thing a year? You can learn a new language, or take dance classes, or watch a TED Talk on subjects such as sex, cryptocurrency, or the evolution of music. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that idea. But it's not going to bring back the honeymoon phase. Number 5, dress well. Many couples let themselves go after getting married. That's probably one of the most important things he just said in the whole damn article. Or when the children arrive. Men get the dad bod and women live in yoga pants because it's easy and comfy. Look, I get it. It's hard to always look your best when you have a million responsibilities. You don't have to look amazing every day, but making an effort as you did during the honeymoon phase can help boost your mood, self-esteem, and spark attraction for each other. Dressing well always has positive impact, so wear a dress that makes you feel like a goddess or one that your husband likes. That is absolutely 100% true what she's talking about there. Absolutely agree with her. People let themselves go. And I don't just mean their attire. I'm talking about their bodies, which you mentioned. Guys, and I'm going to call guys out on this shit, and it isn't just marriage, it's also just relationships. A lot of guys, they get that relationship gut. If the guys used to go to the gym pretty often, well, he stops going to the gym because he figures like, hey, I don't have to work as hard. I got her. No big deal, right? Or the guy falls into the trap that she wants to have his attention all the time, so he stops going to work out and do the gym or riding his bike or go jogging, whatever the hell he likes to do, because he's trying to make her happy because she wants his attention all the time. And then he gains weight. He's not physically the same as he was before. And then she complains because he's not in as good shape as he used to be. You can't win there. And the women, same deal. They stop working out as much. They stop taking care of themselves. They stop dressing as well, dressing as sexy. And then you move in together, which I tell you not to do. And that's even worse because sweatpants all the time, the hair sticking up like the Bride of Frankenstein. She's not the same hot girl that you've been dating all along. You're getting the real her now. And the guy, same deal with him. He's sitting on his ass all weekend watching a Lord of the Rings marathon or Game of Thrones marathon, drinking beer and eating pizza and getting fat. Meanwhile, back in the old days, they'd go out and have fun and do stuff. So yeah, definitely you gotta. That trap, which a lot of people fall into, it's a stereotype and it's dead on. That's why I tell you guys, no matter what your situation, single, relationship, married, if you do that, keep going to the gym, keep exercising, keep making yourself look good, dress well, take care of yourself, all that stuff. Number 6, do nice things for your husband. Well, there's an idea. I like that. You know your husband better than anyone else. You know how he likes his coffee in the morning, his favorite food, and who his favorite sports team is. Make an effort to do his favorite things for no other reason than to make him happy. There's an idea. I like that. Good girl. When you give unconditionally without expecting anything in return, you leave room for him to reciprocate. Aim to do one nice thing for him a week and watch have a knock-on effect. Don't be surprised if he turns around and treats you like an absolute queen. Well, you better not treat her like an absolute queen, because what happens if you treat a woman like a queen, whether she's your girlfriend, a girl you're dating, or your wife, pretty sooner or later she's going to look down at you like a peasant. And I know that's a tough pill for a lot of people to swallow, and a lot of people watch and say, that's not true. Oh yeah? Go ahead and give the royalty treatment too much. You can do nice things, but if you do it too much, it's going to have an opposite effect of what you're trying to get. Number 7, passionate sex. Finally, sex is an important aspect of marriage. Yeah, no shit, but it's also usually lacking in marriage. But not your regular weekly sex. You want to aim for wild, passionate sex. Like it was in the beginning, sometimes multiple times a day. She is talking about a marriage, right? Okay? How many people that are married beyond, like she mentions, the honeymoon period, are actually doing this? Not a whole lot, okay? And you're not going to get the passion, you're not going to get all that unless all the other things are in place, okay? You just can't just snap your fingers and say, we're going to have wild, freaky, kinky sex, okay? It's not going to happen that way, all right? But that could happen in the beginning during the honeymoon period and the times when things are passionate, but later on down the road, it's pretty much few and far between, and it's usually quickies, and it's not exactly too exciting. That is the stereotype, and pretty much is dead on. And any of you guys that either are married or were married at one point in your life, you can obviously agree with me on this. She says, try initiating sex more and take time to really set the mood. You can wear seductive lingerie or try a new position in a different part of the house. The key is to have fun with it and mix things up. If you're short on ideas on how to create intimacy and passion in the bedroom, check out our article here. Or just check out certain websites and that'll give you all the ideas you could ever possibly want. In closing thoughts, creating a lifelong love affair takes time and effort. The most enduring love comes from couples who have mutual respect and adoration for one another, and they help each other grow spiritually and emotionally. Do the work, be kind to each other, and cultivate fun and romance to keep the passion burning. Well, again, that sounds all fine and dandy, but in reality, for those that have been through this, the odds are not going to happen. And even if you do all those things, which I agree, those are all good things to try to do from both parties, it doesn't mean it's going to be like it was in the beginning. Not a chance in hell, okay? And I'm willing to bet you that the author of this probably has never been married, so she doesn't know. And this is all wishful thinking and writing an article to, appeal to her female audience and all that. But it's not going to work, okay? But I do recommend doing these things, and then that's cool, but just, you're not going to get the same results that she's trying to sell in this particular article, but, that's just how it is. Anyway, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. For those of you guys that either presently are married or at some point were married, all these things here, let me know what you think about this article. Let me know, was there the slightest possibility that you could have this deep passion like you had in the beginning through the whole marriage? I'd like to know your opinion on this, okay? And I can imagine the comments I'm going to get, but by all means, share away. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.